Have you ever felt like life just broke you without warning? Like everything was fine yesterday, and today, everything is shattered? Why does this happen when we least expect it? And how do we survive when it feels like we've lost everything? Imagine this. A man who worked hard for years, built a family, a home, a future. One morning, he wakes up to news that he lost his job. His partner leaves. His health fails. Everything all at once. He sits on the floor, numb, asking, why me? This isn't just his story. It's something many face in silence. When life breaks you sharply, it doesn't knock first. It enters like a storm and leaves you confused, lost, and heavy. But in Buddhism, we find a truth. Life is always changing, and every break is not the end. Sometimes, it's the beginning of seeing clearly. Pain can wake us up when comfort made us fall asleep. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we dive deep into the wisdom of life, especially when it hurts the most. If you've ever felt broken, this journey is for you. There's so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, if this message touches your heart, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us keep sharing messages that matter. In Buddhism, suffering is not something to run from. It is something to understand. The Buddha didn't promise a life without pain. He offered a way through it. That's why this video isn't just a story. It's a guide, step by step, to help you walk through your storm with calm, with strength, and with deep understanding. This is not about religious belief. It's about human experience. When everything breaks, Buddhism shows us how to sit with the pieces, not to fix them right away, but to see them clearly. This series will unfold powerful teachings, slow and steady. You don't need to know anything about Buddhism to begin. You only need to be honest about your pain, because that's where healing starts. So if you feel broken, stay with us. There's still peace here. There's still light, and we will walk toward it together. The nature of suffering. Why pain comes without warning. Let me sit with you for a moment. Breathe slowly. Just as the wind passes through the trees without asking, pain too comes into our lives without knocking. This is the way of life. And today, I will speak with you not as someone above, but as someone who has walked through the fire and the silence that follows. Have you ever wondered, why suffering? Why does life, which holds so much beauty, also carry so much pain? It may appear unfair, but let us not be quick to judge the nature of life by a single day or by a single heartbreak. There's a deeper pattern beneath what we see. In Buddhism, we don't try to avoid suffering by covering it up with distractions. We try to understand it. We don't escape it. We observe it, gently like watching the clouds float across the sky. Let me tell you the first noble truth. Life contains suffering. This is not negative. This is not pessimistic. It is honest. It is the truth of every human being, rich or poor, young or old. The pain of loss, the fear of change, the ache of loneliness, these do not spare anyone. But you may ask, if I do everything right, why should I suffer? The answer lies not in your actions alone, but in the nature of the world itself. Everything is in motion. Nothing stays the same. Your health, your relationships, your success, they're like ripples on a lake. Beautiful, yes, but never still forever. Many suffer not just because of pain, but because they expected no pain. This expectation creates a second layer of suffering, one that can feel even heavier than the first. Buddhism teaches us to drop that second layer, to stop saying, this should not happen to me, and instead ask, what can this teach me? Now, listen carefully. There is no punishment in life's pain. Pain is not karma coming to punish you. Pain is a teacher, and sometimes the lessons are given in silence, not in words. A leaf does not ask the wind why it falls. It simply lets go. Likewise, when life breaks us without warning, we can learn to soften. We can stop resisting. We can begin to open our eyes to the truth hidden inside the pain. There was once a woman named Kisagotami. Her baby died. She ran, crying, through the village, begging for medicine. No one could help her. Finally, she went to the Buddha. He said, bring me a mustard seed from a home that has never known death. She knocked on door after door. but every house had suffered loss. She returned to the Buddha, silent, and then she understood suffering is everywhere. It connects us. It makes us one. When we know this, we feel less alone. Your pain is yours, yes, but it is also ours. We carry it together as humans. That is the beginning of compassion. You see, when you understand suffering, your heart becomes soft. Not weak, but soft like a strong tree that bends with the wind. You stop judging yourself for feeling pain. You stop hiding it. You begin to heal. Do not believe that a strong person feels no sadness. A truly strong person allows themselves to feel everything fully. They cry without shame. They sit with grief like a friend. They do not rush to escape it. They listen, and slowly the storm begins to pass. So I say to you, when suffering enters your life, do not ask, why me? Ask instead, what now? Ask, what is this moment showing me about life? You will begin to see the truth. All pain comes with a hidden seed. That seed, when watered with awareness and patience, becomes wisdom. And once you begin to understand suffering, you stop fearing it so much. You stop running. You walk with it. You hold its hand. And then something magical happens. It begins to loosen its grip on you. Remember, suffering is not always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet emptiness inside, the dull ache that no one sees. That too is real. That too matters. Do not compare your pain with others. Pain is pain, and it deserves your kindness. There's another truth I want you to hear. Suffering is temporary. Yes, it hurts deeply, but does not last forever. The darkest night does not stop the sun from rising. Even if you feel broken now, this is not the end of your story. The Buddha taught us that suffering has a cause, and because it has a cause, it can also end. You're not stuck. You are in a passage. Walk slowly. Be kind to yourself. The pain you feel now is not who you are. It is just what you are feeling, like a wave that rises, then falls. Many times people say, I am broken. No, you're not broken. You're breaking open. And sometimes we must break open to let the light in. Let me give you an image. A lotus flower blooms in muddy water. It does not bloom in clean, still ponds. It needs the mud, just like you, who grows strength and wisdom from your darkest times. This is not easy, but it is possible. With each breath, you can return to yourself. With each moment, you can let go of what you thought life should be and begin to see it as it is. Do not wait for pain to leave before you start living again. Live gently, even with pain. Laugh softly. Cry freely. Rest often. And when the time is right, rise. We walk this path not to escape life, but to meet it fully. Even when it is difficult. Even when it is silent. Even when it breaks us. And in that full meeting, something changes. We are no longer victims of life, we are students of it. And every tear becomes a part of our awakening. I do not offer you false hope. I offer you the truth. Pain will visit you, but it does not have to define you. You can suffer and still be free inside. You can fall and still rise again. You can feel lost and still find peace in this very moment. This is the path. This is the practice. This is the teaching. Let your suffering be the doorway. Let your pain be the beginning. And let your heart stay open, even now. I'm here with you. You are not alone. Attachment, the hidden cause of deep breakdowns. Let me tell you a quiet truth, one that many people never hear clearly in their entire life. It's not what breaks that hurts the most. It's what we were holding on to. When life breaks you, it's easy to point at the loss. A person left, a job ended, a dream disappeared. But if we look deeper, the real suffering is not just because of the loss. It is because of our attachment to what we thought should stay. A bird builds a nest in the same tree for years. One day, the tree is cut down. The bird doesn't sit there crying. It flies, finds another branch, and starts again. But humans, we are different. We not only build a nest, we also fall in love with the idea that the tree will never fall. Attachment means we believe something outside of us can give us lasting happiness. A person, a house, a job, an image of ourselves. And when that thing is taken away, we don't just lose the object, we lose our sense of self with it. That's why it breaks so deeply. You must understand this slowly, not in a rush. Sit with it like a warm cup of tea. You are not suffering only because something ended. You are suffering because your mind believed it should have lasted. In Buddhism, this is called upadana, grasping, clinging. It's like holding a rope too tightly. The tighter you grip it, the more it burns your hands when it starts slipping. Letting go doesn't hurt. It's the resisting that causes pain. Let me share a story. A young man came to the Buddha. His lover had left him. He was heartbroken. He asked, "Why does it hurt so much?" The Buddha smiled softly and said, "You are suffering because you thought she belonged to you." This is the kind of teaching that cuts deep, not to make you bleed, but to open your eyes. You see, nothing in this world is truly ours. Not even this body. Everything we think we own is borrowed from the earth, from time, from others. But we act as if we can hold it forever. That illusion is the seed of suffering. When you are attached, you become blind. You don't see things as they are. You see them as you need them to be. And that is a heavy burden. Have you noticed how peaceful children are when they play with something and move on to the next toy? But adults cling. We say, "This is mine," and that word, mine, becomes a prison. Imagine holding a cup of tea. If you enjoy the tea while it's warm and set the cup down when it's empty, you feel satisfied. But if you fall in love with the cup and someone takes it away, suddenly your peace is gone. It wasn't the tea you loved, it was the idea of keeping it. This is the core of what breaks us silently. We fall in love with permanence in an impermanent world. So what is the way out? First, awareness. Notice what you're attached to. Not just the people, but the expectations, the titles, the roles, the image in the mirror. Ask yourself gently, if this was gone tomorrow, would I still be okay? Not to scare yourself, but to become free. Second, reflection. Every day, reflect on what you clung to. Did you get angry because someone didn't talk to you as expected? Did you feel hurt because you didn't get appreciation? Look deeper. Behind the emotion is always an attachment. Third, practice letting go bit by bit. You don't have to drop everything at once. Start small. If you're attached to your phone, try putting it down for an hour. If you're attached to praise, do something kind without telling anyone. Freedom grows slowly. Let me give you an image. A leaf on a tree doesn't fear the wind. When it's time, it lets go and floats. It dances on the breeze, not knowing where it will land, but trusting the fall. Can we be like that? In Buddhist practice, monks leave their families, names, and possessions behind. Not because they hate them, but because they want to see what's real when everything else is gone. You don't need to become a monk, but you can become lighter by dropping one thing at a time. Sometimes people say, "But Master, if I let go of everything, what's left?" And I say, you are left. Not your roles, not your labels, but your peaceful, real self. You will find that the less you need to hold on to, the more you can embrace the flow of life. When you don't grasp, things come and go freely, and you become like the sky, not disturbed by the clouds. When a relationship ends, it's not the end of love, it's the end of one form. When money is lost, it's not the end of value, it's the beginning of humility. When a dream collapses, it's not failure, it's space for something more true. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to right now that's hurting me? And more importantly, am I willing to loosen my grip, even a little? To live without attachment doesn't mean you don't love. It means you love deeply without fear. You appreciate without needing. You care without control. So when life breaks you sharply, remember, it may not be the thing that hurt you most. It may be your belief that it would never leave. And once you see that clearly, you begin to heal. Let go. Not because you must, but because peace is lighter than holding on. Now close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Say in your heart, allow things to come and go. I do not cling. I do not push. I simply witness. That, my dear friend, is the beginning of true strength. Impermanence. Nothing lasts, not even pain. Sit down, dear one. Let your breath slow. You've come far through the pain, through the silence, through the breaking. And now, you must understand something very important. Something that can change how you see every moment. Nothing lasts. Not your pain, not your joy, not even this breath you are taking now. Everything changes. This truth is called anicca in Buddhism, impermanence. Let me tell you a story. A young man once came to me with tears in his eyes. He said, "Master, my heart is shattered. The woman I loved has left me. My dreams are broken. I don't want to feel this way forever." I looked into his eyes and gently said, "You won't." He stared at me in disbelief. I continued, "Just as the sun does not stay in the sky forever, just as the river keeps flowing and never pauses, your pain, too, will move. It is not a stone. It is water." He stayed quiet, and slowly, a tiny light entered his face. Not hope yet, but curiosity. "Then why," he asked, "does it feel like this pain is permanent?" I smiled. That is the question. When we suffer, we believe it will always be this way. We think the moment we are in will stretch on forever. But that is illusion, and illusion is the root of suffering. Let me share a secret. Every emotion is a visitor. Every thought is a guest. Nothing you feel is permanent, even when it screams loudly inside you. Look at the seasons. Winter never says, "I will stay forever." Spring never says, "You owe me joy forever." They come and they go. So too do your joys and your sorrows. Have you noticed? You cannot even hold on to laughter for long. Even happiness passes. Even anger fades, even when it feels endless. Even love, in its form, changes. So what makes you think pain will be the only thing that stays? Sit with your pain, yes, but do not make a home out of it. It has no roots. It cannot grow forever. It is passing like a cloud across a silent sky. One of my old teachers used to say, "Do not cling to the rising sun, and do not mourn its setting. Simply see that it rose, and it will rise again." So when your heart is heavy, don't ask, "How can I make it stop?" Instead, ask, "Can I let it pass through me like wine through an open window?" When you hold on to something that is meant to leave, you suffer twice. Once when it hurts, and once when you refuse to let it go. But if you can say this too is changing, then you are free. Even the deepest grief has an end. Even the darkest night gives way to dawn. You do not need to fight the pain. You only need to stop clinging to it. Let go. Let it flow. Let go where it must go. You see, we fear change because we want control. But in truth, there is more peace in surrender than in resistance. Don't believe me? Close your eyes. Think of something you were worried about 5 years ago. Something that consumed your mind. Maybe it was a relationship, or a decision, or a failure. Now ask yourself, does it hurt the same today? No, that's impermanence. What felt impossible once is now a memory. So when you cry today, remember, this too shall pass. Let your life flow like a river. Don't dam it. Don't stop it. Let it carry away what must leave. Let bring what must come. Because even the most beautiful lotus blooms from mud that didn't last. And even the mud was needed for a while. When life breaks you, what's really breaking is the belief that anything stays the same. That's not a punishment. That's the start of wisdom. Now you begin to see, you don't have to be afraid of loss. Because nothing real can ever truly be lost. It only changes form. The leaf falls from the tree and becomes the soil. The soil feeds the roots. The roots grow the tree again. So when you say, "I lost everything," maybe what you lost wasn't meant to stay. Maybe what's coming is something deeper, more true. Impermanence also means you get to start again, over and over. Every breath is new. Every sunrise is a chance. And even broken hearts bloom again. This is not poetry. This is truth. You're not stuck. You're not finished. You are simply between waves. Let this wave pass. Let the next one come. Let it carry you gently forward. You are never meant to stand still. You are meant to move. When you understand impermanence deeply, something beautiful happens. You stop holding on so tightly. You stop fearing change. You start living fully, knowing that nothing is promised. Not pain, not joy, not life. That is freedom. So next time life breaks you sharply, don't ask, "Why me?" Instead, ask, "What is this moment trying to teach me before it fades?" Because it will fade. It always does. Let your heart be soft, not hard. Let your spirit be open, not closed. And remember this truth. Nothing lasts. Not even the pain. Especially not the pain. Now breathe, and let it pass. The ego's collapse. A path to awakening. Sit down gently. Take a deep breath. Let's talk. There comes a time in everyone's life when something within them breaks, but not their body, not even their mind. Something deeper, quiet, unseen. It is the ego, and when it breaks, it hurts like nothing else. But, dear one, that collapse, it is the doorway to freedom. You see, we live most of our lives carrying something we don't even notice. We carry the idea of who I am, what I deserve, what I want, how others should treat me, what I should become. This I feel strong, proud, smart, important. It tries to control life, protect itself, prove something. But life, my friend, does not bow to this I. Let me tell you a little story. A man once came to the Buddha. His business failed. His wife left him. His son did not speak to him. He fell on his knees and said, "Lord, I have lost everything." The Buddha looked at him with calm eyes and replied, "No, you have lost only what was never truly yours." The man did not understand. The Buddha smiled and said, "You thought they were yours. Your business, your wife, your child. But none of these are truly in your control. What you lost was not your life, but your illusion." This is what ego does. It builds a palace made of thoughts. I must be successful. I must be loved. I must be respected. Then life comes like wind through a paper house, and suddenly, everything falls. When the ego breaks, it cries, "Why me?" It begs to go back to how things were. But listen carefully. That moment, that heartbreak, is your teacher. It is not life punishing you. It is life freeing you. In Buddhism, this collapse is seen not as a tragedy, but as a chance. Because only when the ego breaks can the truth of who you really are begin to shine. You are not your status. You are not your job. You are not your body. You are not your opinions. You are not even your story. These are all clouds. You, my dear, are the sky. But let's not rush. The ego does not die quietly. It resists. It clings. It says, "But I worked so hard. I gave everything. I was right. They wronged me." And it wants justice, validation, revenge. Buddhism invites you to observe these voices, not believe them blindly. When a mind screams, "This is unfair," pause. Breathe. Ask who is speaking, who is hurt. Watch it like a movie. Don't fight it. Just see it. The great Zen saying goes, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." The ego's collapse is not the end of you. It is the end of who you thought you were. What remains is something much more beautiful. Still, quiet, awake. But awakening is not fireworks. It's more like a soft sunrise after a storm. At first, you may feel empty, lost. You'll ask, "If I'm not this ego, then who am I?" That question is the real beginning. The Buddha taught the idea of anatta, no self. It does not mean you don't exist. It means you're not a fixed identity. You are change. You are awareness. You are not the riverbank. You are the river. When the ego falls apart, you start to see the world as it really is, not filtered through pride, fear, jealousy, or desire. You begin to listen more, to judge less. You laugh more easily. You cry without shame. You love without clinging. This is the taste of freedom. People think strength is about never breaking. But true strength is in what happens after the break. It's how gently you put your pieces down. It's how softly you sit in your own silence. It's how deeply you allow truth to enter, even when it hurts. You don't need to fix the ego. You don't need to rebuild the old image. Just stay present. Stay real. Watch what arises. Breathe through it. One day, you'll wake up and notice the storm inside has become still. And in that stillness, you will meet a version of yourself you never knew. Not the one shaped by the world's opinions, but the one shaped by clarity, compassion, and truth. There's a Zen teaching that says, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Life continues. Pain still visits. But the one who faces it is no longer a slave to it. You now see through the mask. That's the gift when ego collapses. It may feel like your world has ended, but really, only the illusion has ended. What remains is a space for truth to live. So when life breaks you sharply, don't rush to stand up. Sit with the break. Listen. Let the ego cry and scream and fade. Then like soft grass after a wildfire, a new self will grow. Not built by effort, but by awareness. This is the path. Quiet, honest, free. You are not who you thought you were. You are much, much more. The power of present awareness in times of ruin. When everything breaks, when the world you built starts to fall apart, what can you really do? You try to fix it, right? You try to go back to how things were. But sometimes, no matter what you do, nothing goes back. Nothing feels the same. And in that moment, your mind starts running everywhere. Past mistakes, future fears, deep regrets, and endless worries. Now, listen carefully. This is the moment where most people get lost. They fall into the past, where they fear the future. But they forget the most important place, the present moment. As a Zen Master, I'm not here to give you big, heavy teachings. I'm here to show you one thing. Just one thing that can change everything. Awareness of now. Not next week. Not 10 years ago. Not tomorrow. Just now. Let's take a deep breath together. Inhale. Exhale. That breath you just felt, that was now. And the more you feel it, the more alive you become, even in your pain. People think that awareness means thinking more. But that's not true. Awareness is not thinking. It's watching. It's noticing. It's realizing, I'm here right now. And this moment is the only real thing. When you lose something big, your job, your relationship, someone you love, it feels like the world is collapsing. But look closely. The world hasn't ended. The sun still rises. The wind still touches your skin. The breath still flows in and out. These are not small things. These are the ground beneath your brokenness. In Buddhism, we learn that suffering comes when we want the moment to be something else. When we say, this shouldn't be happening to me, we suffer more. But when we say, this is what is here, I see it, I feel it, something strange happens. The pain is still there, but it becomes lighter. Why? Because we're not fighting it anymore. We are just present with it. Let me give you an example. One day a man came to me. His wife had left him. His business failed. He said, Master, I can't breathe. My heart feels like it's dying. I think I've lost everything. I looked at him and asked, what are you feeling right now? He said pain, anger, sadness, regret. I said no. Right now, in this exact second. Not your story, not your past, not your fear. Just this second. What is happening? He paused. He was silent. Then he said softly, I feel my breath. I feel the floor under my feet. I hear the birds. That was his moment of awakening. Even in heartbreak, the present moment is still whole. It does not ask you to fix everything. It only asks you to be here with it. Let's try it now together. Stop reading for a few seconds. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Notice your body sitting where it is. Listen to the sounds around you. Don't judge anything. Just notice. You are now practicing Zen. Simple, isn't it? People often say, Master, how can I stay present when the pain is so big? And I say, stay small. Don't think about the whole future. Don't carry your entire past. Just notice your next breath. That's enough. One breath is the doorway to peace. In the Zen way, we don't avoid pain. We walk through it with full awareness. Like walking barefoot on cold ground. You feel every stone, but you also feel the earth holding you. This is the power of presence. The mind will try to pull you away. It will say, think about what went wrong. Worry about what's coming. But you don't have to follow. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who sees them. Let them come. Let them go. Just return again and again to this moment. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel broken. But while you cry, can you also feel your breath? While you break, can you also hear the rain falling outside? That is Zen. In present awareness, everything becomes gentle. You no longer fight your feelings. You just notice them like clouds passing in the sky. You say, sadness is here. You don't say, this sadness will destroy me, because you know it will pass. Everything does. A Zen student once asked me, Master, what is the deepest truth? I said, this cup of tea. He looked confused, but in time he understood, because life is not found in ideas. It's found in the simple, real moment. So when life breaks you, don't rush to fix it. Sit quietly, breathe, watch your thoughts without following them. Return again and again to now. This is the beginning of healing. The Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." Not because the past and future don't matter, but because the only place you can touch your life is now. So take this as your practice. Every day, find 10 moments to pause. Just breathe and notice. This is not escaping life. This is finally living it. When life breaks you sharply, it's not the end. It is the invitation to begin again. Not with noise, not with force, but with quiet awareness, with calm, with peace. This is the way of Zen. This is the gift of now. Silence after the storm. Embracing emptiness. When a storm of life breaks over you, it feels as if the world itself has ended. The noise of pain, fear, anger, and confusion fills your mind like a wild river flooding its banks. But what happens when a storm passes? What do you find in the silence that follows? This silence can feel empty. It can feel like a void where nothing remains. Yet, in Buddhism, this emptiness is not a curse. It is a profound gift. It is the place where healing begins. Imagine a tree in winter. Its leaves have fallen, the branches are bare, and the landscape around is quiet and still. This emptiness is not death, it is rest. It is a time to gather strength for new growth. In the same way, when life breaks you sharply and the storm settles, your mind and heart enter a space like winter. Everything familiar has been swept away. You might feel lost, but this is the moment to pause deeply. Pause and notice the silence. Notice the emptiness. At first, it might scare you. Your mind will try to fill this silence with memories, worries, or regrets. But try not to run from this emptiness. Instead, lean into it gently. Buddhism teaches us that emptiness is not nothingness. It is the absence of fixed, permanent things. Our suffering comes from clinging to things as if they would never change. When they do change, and they always do, we feel broken. But emptiness is the space where change can happen freely. It is like the clear sky after a storm. The clouds have moved on, and the sky is open and vast. Emptiness can feel strange because we are used to filling every moment with noise, talking, thinking, planning. But in emptiness, you allow yourself to be still, to just be. This stillness is healing. The Zen Master Dogen said, "To study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self." In the silence after your storm, you begin to see that your self is not one solid thing. It is not the pain, not the loss, not the fear. It is much more. When a storm breaks you, it breaks the stories you told yourself about who you are. Maybe you believed you were strong because of your job, your relationships, or your possessions. When those break, you see that these things were never truly you. They were only parts. In the emptiness after the storm, you find a deeper self. A self that is connected to all things and yet is free from them. This is the heart of Zen, to be empty so that you can be full. But how do you embrace this emptiness when it feels so painful? How do you face silence when your mind is screaming inside? The answer is mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying close attention to what is happening right now, without judging, without trying to change it. It is like being a quiet observer of your own mind and body. When pain rises, notice it. When fear appears, see it clearly. Don't push these feelings away or try to distract yourself. Welcome them as guests in your mind. They are visitors, not permanent residents. Buddha taught that all things arise and pass away. Pain, sadness, fear, these are waves on the ocean of your mind. They come and go. If you hold on tightly, you suffer more. If you watch them calmly, they lose their power. This is not easy. It takes practice. But each time you allow the silence to be there, without resistance, you grow stronger. Another way to embrace emptiness is through breathing. Your breath is always with you. When your mind is wild, bring your attention to the breath. Feel it entering and leaving your body. With each breath, you create space inside. Space where the storm cannot reach you. Space where you are safe, even when everything outside feels unsafe. Zen teaches us to sit with this emptiness in meditation. To sit quietly and let all thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go like clouds in the sky. In that quiet sitting, you discover that the storm was never outside of you. It was always inside. And so is the peace. You learn that you are not your suffering. You're the vast sky where clouds move, the ocean where waves rise and fall. In this way, the silence after the storm becomes a sanctuary, a place of healing and rebirth. You might wonder, will the storm come again? How do I prepare for it? The truth is, storms will come and go again and again. But the more you practice embracing emptiness and stillness, the less the storms shake you. You become like a mountain, strong and steady, not because nothing happens to you, but because you do not lose yourself in what happens. In emptiness, you find freedom. Freedom from fear, from anger, from pain. Not because these things disappear, but because you no longer hold on to them tightly. You learn to flow with life, like water flowing around rocks, smooth and adaptable. This is the great teaching of Zen and Buddhism, to live fully in the present moment, no matter what arises. So, when life breaks you sharply and the storm ends, do not rush to fill the silence. Sit with it. Breathe into it. Watch your thoughts come and go. Embrace the emptiness. In it, there is healing, there is peace, and there is the true self, free and unbroken. Letting go gracefully, the Buddhist art of release. When you hold something too tightly, what happens? Your hand gets tired, your fingers ache, and if the thing slips away, it leaves a deep mark. This is true for objects, but it's even more true for people, for feelings, for memories, and for the past. In life, we all carry something. Some carry heartbreak, some carry regret, some carry anger, and some carry the weight of what never happened. We keep it close. We think, maybe one day I'll understand. Maybe one day it will feel better. But that one day often never comes. The Buddha taught a very quiet but powerful lesson. Letting go is not loss. Letting go is freedom. But most people fear letting go. What if I forget? What if I lose myself? What if I let go too soon? These questions are normal. But here is the truth, my dear one. You do not let go when you forget. You let go when you understand. Now, take a deep breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. That breath you just took, it came and it went. You didn't force it to stay. And yet, you are still alive. This is the teaching. Every breath teaches us to let go. Every breath shows us we are safe in the flow of life. But we don't live like that. We hold on to harsh words spoken years ago. We hold on to someone who left, even though they're no longer here. We hold on to guilt for things we did when we didn't know better. Why? Because we think holding on gives it value. But holding on only gives it pain. In Buddhism, there's a word, upadana. It means grasping or clinging. It is the root of suffering. The more we grasp, the more we suffer. The more we hold on, the heavier we become. I try to swim while clutching a stone. You may ask, but Zen Master, how do I let go? That is a beautiful question. You let go by seeing clearly. You let go by understanding deeply. You let go not because you hate, but because you're ready to love yourself. Letting go does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise. Letting go does not mean you forget. It means you stop allowing the past to steal your present. Letting go does not mean you don't care. It means you care for your peace more than your pride. Let me tell you the story of a monk and a woman. The monk was walking with his friend. On the road, they saw a woman trying to cross a muddy river. She was afraid. One monk, without a word, carried her across. Hours later, the other monk said, "Why did you carry that woman? We monks are not supposed to touch women." The first monk smiled and said, "Brother, I left her by the river. Why are you still carrying her?" This is how we live. We carry what we should have left behind. We carry what we already survived. And that weight becomes our suffering. Letting go is not done in one day. It is a gentle, daily practice. A quiet whisper to yourself. I release this, for it no longer serves me. It may be a memory, a person, a dream, a belief, even an old version of you. Buddhism teaches us to live like the lotus, growing from the mud, untouched by the dirt. To be like the sky, holding all clouds but never clinging to one. When life breaks you, you may want to hold on tightly to the pieces. But sometimes, the only way forward is to let the pieces fall and trust that something new can be built. You may cry. That's okay. You may feel afraid. That's okay too. Letting go is not a straight road. Some days you feel strong. Some days you want to hold it all again. That is also part of the path. The key is not to rush. The key is to be gentle. To remind yourself that even the trees let go of their leaves in autumn, and they do not cry for what they lose. They trust that spring will come. You are not alone in your letting go. Every human carries something. Every heart has tried to hold on to something already gone. But you are here now. You are breathing. You are learning. And slowly, you are becoming light again. Say to yourself softly, I allow myself to release this weight. I do not need to hold on to what hurts. Letting go is not a punishment. It is a return to peace, to balance, to the true you. So sit quietly. Close your eyes. Feel the breath again. Inhale peace. Exhale the burden. Do this again and again. Every breath a small act of letting go. One day, you will notice the pain doesn't feel sharp anymore. One day, you will laugh again without guilt. One day, you will see the sunrise and feel it deeply, not through the filter of your wounds, but through the freedom of your healing. You do not have to forget the past. You only have to stop dragging it behind you like a chain. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are not the story someone else wrote for you. You are here now. You are growing. You are learning the art of release. And that, my dear listener, is a powerful kind of strength. Let go not for them, but for you. Let go, not to forget, but to forgive. Let go, not to run away, but to finally come home to yourself. This is the way of peace. This is the path of the awakened one. This is the gentle power of letting go, turning pain into compassion. Sit down gently. Breathe slowly. Let us begin this part of our journey together. When pain visits your life, it doesn't knock. It enters. It settles. It makes you cry, sometimes silently, sometimes loudly. But have you ever asked, what if this pain could be something more? What if it could transform into something beautiful? Something that does not destroy you, but deepens you? This is not fantasy. This is the teaching of the Buddha. This is what I, a simple Zen monk, have learned through years of silence, falling and rising again. Let me tell you a small story. There was a young boy in a village. One day his mother died. The boy was only 10. For years, he cried alone under a tree behind their hut. People pitied him, but no one sat with him. One day, an old monk came to the village. He saw the boy and quietly sat beside him. No words, no teachings, just presence. The boy looked at the monk, confused. The monk said, "You hurt deeply. That is a seed. That seed can grow into great compassion. If you water it with silence, it will bloom." Years passed. The boy became a monk. The same boy who was once broken, now sat with others in pain. He became a shelter for others, because he knew their storm. Pain, my friend, is not just an enemy. It is a teacher. It tells you how others might be feeling. When you understand your own sorrow, you understand the sorrow of others too. That is compassion. That is the flower born from the ashes. In Buddhism, we call this karuna, compassion that comes from the heart of suffering. Not pity, not sympathy, but deep, raw connection. When you feel pain, truly feel it without escaping it. Then slowly, you can feel the pain of the world. And then you wish to ease it. Not because you are a hero, but because you understand. Buddha himself walked this path. He saw sickness, old age, death. He felt the pain of life. But he did not turn away. He went deeper into it. And what he found was not darkness. It was compassion so vast, it could embrace all beings. You may ask, how do I turn my pain into compassion? It starts with acceptance. Don't run. Don't hide. Sit with your pain like it is a crying child. Hold it. Listen to it. What is it trying to tell you? Maybe it's grief. Maybe it's loneliness. Maybe it's betrayal. All of it is real. Let it be seen. Now, see how many others might be feeling the same. Somewhere, someone is crying the way you did. Somewhere, someone is feeling what you are feeling now. When you open your heart to this truth, compassion is born. Many people think compassion is weakness, but in truth it is power. To feel someone's pain and still choose to love, still choose to help, that is the strongest thing a human can do. Sometimes, when life breaks you sharply, it opens cracks in your heart. And through those cracks, light can enter. That light is your awareness. And that light can also flow out toward others. But you must be patient. Turning pain into compassion is not quick. It is like cooking a healing soup. It takes time, fire, and gentle stirring. You may begin by doing small things. Listen to someone who is hurting. Write a letter of kindness. Sit with someone in silence. Smile at a stranger. These are not small acts. These are the beginnings of great compassion. And when you give compassion, something strange happens. Your pain also begins to soften. It's like a fire that warms others, but also warms your own hands. You give, but you receive at the same time. Buddhism teaches us about the Bodhisattva, the one who chooses to return to the world of suffering to help others, even after finding peace. Why? Because once you have known the taste of pain and the joy of healing, you want others to feel peace too. Not from pride, but from love. There's a Buddhist saying, "May all beings be free from suffering." Not just me, not just my family, but all beings. This is the heart of true compassion. It is wide. It includes even those who hurt us. Yes, even them. That is difficult. But the highest compassion includes forgiveness. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You are not your pain, but your pain can become your path. Your pain can become your purpose. If you carry it with kindness, your pain can become a bridge that connects you to others. A bridge that brings people together. When we walk this path, we stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "How can I use this?" That is transformation. You are not alone in your suffering, and you are not helpless in it. You have a power inside you, the power to feel, to care, to act, to give. That power is called compassion. It is already in you. Let it grow. Let it rise like a lotus from the mud. Let your pain become your teacher, your strength, your gift to the world. Now take one breath. Feel your heart. Let this wisdom settle like calm rain over your spirit. And when you are ready, when you feel that warmth in your chest, go out and share it. Not through big speeches, but through small acts of kindness, through presence, through listening, through being the soft place where another broken soul can rest. That, my dear listener, is the way of the awakened heart. That is the way of turning pain into compassion. Mindfulness, how to stay centered when life breaks. When life breaks you, your mind becomes loud. Thoughts rush in like wild winds. What happened? Why me? What now? You feel lost, confused, heavy. But if you look closely, the suffering does not only come from what happened. A big part of it comes from the thoughts that won't stop. This is where mindfulness becomes your strongest friend. Mindfulness is not a big idea. It's not some difficult practice. It is very simple. It means to be here fully with what is happening right now, without trying to escape. Let's say your heart is broken. Maybe someone you trusted left. Or maybe you lost something important. The pain feels deep. But mindfulness teaches you, do not push the pain away. Do not run. Just sit, breathe, and notice, what does this pain feel like? Don't say it's good or bad. Just say it is. This is the first step, to accept the moment as it is. The Buddha once said, pain is certain. Suffering is optional. What does that mean? Pain comes from life itself. Aging, loss, failure. But suffering comes when we resist it. When we say, this shouldn't happen, or why me? We make the pain heavier. Mindfulness helps you stop adding extra weight to your already heavy heart. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. It's light, right? But if you hold it for 10 minutes, your arm starts to hurt. If you hold it for 1 hour, your arm is in real pain. If you hold it for a whole day, your arm goes numb. That's what happens when you hold thoughts for too long. Mindfulness teaches you to put the glass down. You don't throw it away. You just place it gently on the table and take a breath. Each breath brings you home. When life breaks you sharply, your mind tries to jump ahead. It thinks of tomorrow, next week, next year. But mindfulness says, don't run into the future. Just come back to now. How does your body feel? Where's your breath? What is this moment like? No judgment. Just watching. Many people think mindfulness is only for meditation. Sitting quietly, eyes closed. But true mindfulness is in every part of life. When you eat mindfully. Feel the taste. Notice the texture. Be there. When you walk mindfully. Feel the ground under your feet. Hear the wind. When you cry mindfully. Let the tears fall. Feel the warmth on your cheek. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Buddhist monks are trained for years to be present in every moment. But you don't need years of training. You just need a little honesty and a little time. If you're washing dishes, just wash. If you're drinking tea, just drink. These are not small things. These are powerful practices. Because when your life breaks, your mind wants to jump forward, backward, anywhere but here. But healing is only possible here. Mindfulness gives you back your ground. It helps you return to your body, your breath, your inner home. No matter how broken the outside is, the inside can still be peaceful. One Zen story tells of a monk whose home burned down. People came to comfort him, but he smiled and said, "Now I can see the moon more clearly." This is not about being happy when bad things happen. It is about seeing clearly even when they do. In the fire, in the ashes, in the silence afterward, there is still clarity. When you are mindful, you begin to notice something else too. You notice that your thoughts come and go. A sad thought comes, you notice it. A fearful thought comes, you watch it. An angry thought comes, you breathe with it. They pass, just like clouds in the sky. You are the sky, not the cloud. This truth is deep. It cannot be understood in one moment. But each breath you take with awareness brings you closer to it. You begin to understand, I don't need to fix everything right now. I just need to be with what is. This is powerful, because most of our suffering comes from trying to control what we cannot control. Mindfulness teaches surrender, not in weakness, but in trust. You trust the process. You trust that life is moving. You don't have to drag it forward. You just have to stay awake for the ride. And slowly, your heart opens again. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are present. And presence is peace. When you are present, small things become beautiful again. The sound of birds, the warmth of sunlight, the feel of wind on your face. These are not just details. These are life. In Buddhism, mindfulness is part of the Noble Eightfold Path. It is called right mindfulness, not just being aware, but being aware in the right way. With kindness, with patience, with curiosity. Don't say, why am I still sad? Say, sadness is here again. Don't say, I shouldn't feel this. Say, let me sit with this feeling. This way, even the hardest emotion becomes softer. Not gone, but not so heavy. In time, your broken places become tender places. They teach you compassion for yourself and others. You begin to see that everyone is carrying something. Everyone is healing something. This is the secret gift of mindfulness. It connects you deeply with all living things. And even in your pain, you do not feel alone. So, when life breaks you sharply and you feel like falling apart, pause. Take one breath and be here. This is the path. This is the practice. This is mindfulness. It is not far away. It is right here in this very breath you are taking now. Stay with it. Breathe. You are healing moment by moment, breath by breath. The Noble Eightfold Path, rebuilding from the inside. When life breaks you sharply, most people look outside for answers. They try to fix the outer world, relationships, jobs, situations. But in the wisdom of the Buddha, the true rebuilding always begins from the inside. Not outside, not in others. Inside you. This part of the journey is very important. It is where you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I learn now? You may still feel pain. You may still feel lost. But now, there's a small space opening inside. A little light, a little strength. That's where the Noble Eightfold Path begins. The Buddha taught this path not to escape life, but to understand it deeply and live with peace. The path has 8 steps. These are not rules. These are tools. They guide us like a map when everything feels dark. The first step is right view. This means seeing life clearly, without illusion. Most of our suffering comes not from what happens, but from how we see it. If you believe pain means your life is ruined, you suffer more. But if you understand that pain is a part of life and can lead to wisdom, you begin to grow. Right view is seeing that everything changes, nothing stays forever, and all things are connected. The second step is right intention. Ask yourself, what do I really want now? If your intention is to heal, to learn, to be kind, then you're walking the right way. If your mind is full of anger, revenge, or hopelessness, suffering continues. Right intention is planting the seed of peace in your heart, even in a storm. Then comes right speech. After being broken, people often say things in pain, harsh words, blame, even lies. But the Buddha teaches us to speak with kindness, truth, and care. Speak less if you must, but when you speak, let your words heal, not harm. Right speech is powerful. One soft word can save a soul. One cruel word can break it. The fourth step is right action. This is not about big heroic acts. It's about small, honest steps. Are you doing what is kind? Are your actions bringing peace or more trouble? When you feel broken, your actions matter even more. Help someone. Take care of your space. Be honest. Move gently. Right action is living your values even when your heart is tired. Then there is right livelihood. This means how you earn your living. Is it honest? Is it harming others? Even if you're just beginning again, choose a path that brings good into the world. Your job should not make you feel dirty inside. You deserve a clean and peaceful heart. The sixth step is right effort. Sometimes when life breaks you, you don't feel like doing anything. You feel lazy, tired, hopeless. But right effort is not about working hard. It's about working wisely. Don't force yourself. Just do a little each day. Clean a corner. Sit in silence. Smile once. One small effort again and again builds the bridge back to peace. Then we walk into right mindfulness. This is the art of being present. Feel the breath. Notice your steps. Observe your feelings without judging. When you are mindful, even pain becomes a teacher. You don't push it away. You sit with it gently, kindly. This is very powerful. In Buddhism, mindfulness is like a lamp in a dark cave. It helps you see clearly. The last step is right concentration. This means training your mind to be still, to focus. When you're broken, your thoughts run wild. Past regrets, future fears, endless stories. But if you learn to sit still and focus your mind on your breath, on a word, on a peaceful image, you start to feel strong again. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who sees them. These 8 steps are the heart of the path. Not just words, but living ways. They are not to be finished in one day. They are to be walked gently, again and again. Now, you may ask, what if I fail? You will, many times. And that's okay. This is not a path of perfect people. This is a path of sincere people. Fall down, stand up. Forget, remember. Sleep, wake. That is how we all walk. The beauty of the Noble Eightfold Path is that it brings your life into balance. When life breaks you sharply, it feels like everything is out of control. But these 8 steps help you build a new rhythm, a new strength. One more thing, this path is not walked alone. Even if you feel alone, the teachings are with you. The Buddha is with you, not as a god, but as a guide. Every step you take on this path brings peace, not only to you, but to everyone around you. Let's make this more real now. Picture someone deeply broken, a woman who lost her child, her job, and her will to live. She reads a book about the Eightfold Path. At first, nothing makes sense, but she begins with right view. She realizes her pain is not her punishment. She starts to breathe again. She moves to right intention. She decides not to hate life, but to understand it. Right speech, she stops blaming. Right action, she plants flowers in a garden. Right livelihood, she starts teaching children again. Right effort, she writes 1 page of her journal each night. Right mindfulness, she listens to the sound of rain without fear. Right concentration, she sits in silence with tears and peace together. Years later, people ask her, "How did you survive such loss?" She says, "I didn't survive. I rebuilt from the inside." This is what the path gives you. Not a quick fix, but a deep, silent rebuilding, stronger than before, kinder than before, wiser than before. So if you feel shattered, don't rush. Just take one step, then another. Follow the path, one breath at a time. You don't have to walk fast. Just walk true. That is the way of the Buddha. That is the way back home. The rebirth of the self, rising beyond the break. When a tree loses all its leaves, does it mean it is dead? No, it simply prepares for a new beginning. In the same way, when life breaks a person sharply, when everything falls apart, something hidden starts to grow. This is not the end. This is the beginning of the rebirth of the self. He sat under the Bodhi tree, broken by life, just like many do. But in that silence, something awakened. Not outside, but within. The Zen Master speaks not with heavy words, but with light truth. When your heart is shattered, don't be afraid. The cracks are where the light enters. And this is where the new self begins. A person who has been broken is not weak. In truth, they're like the strongest bamboo, bent by wind, but never broken forever. He who has seen pain fully, completely, without hiding, has already started walking the path of transformation. The Zen Master knows, rebirth doesn't come with fire and noise. It comes slowly, like the first light at dawn. When we are broken, we lose everything we thought we were. Our plans, our roles, our control. And this is terrifying, but also this is pure. Because now you can ask, who am I really without all this? And this is when the true self begins to form. Not from memory, not from fear, but from stillness. In Buddhism, there is no permanent self. The ego we protect is like smoke. But behind the smoke, there is a deep, calm awareness. When everything breaks and the smoke clears, you begin to see that awareness clearly. That is the real you. That is what never dies. You may have lost a job, a person, a dream. But did you lose your breath? No, it's still here. And as long as you are breathing, the path is still open. One small step is enough. The Zen Master always says, one breath, one step, one truth. This is all you need. The pain you carried has changed you. You are no longer who you were. But don't be afraid, because who you are becoming is someone stronger, softer, wiser, and more real. Sometimes people ask, why did this happen to me? The Zen Master smiles and says, ask instead, what can I learn now? Life doesn't break you to destroy you. It breaks you to show you what's inside. Maybe your heart was too full of noise before. Maybe you were running too fast. Maybe life had to pause you, stop you, so you could look around and see clearly. Rebirth does not mean going back to the old version of yourself. It means becoming something new, something deeper, something closer to the truth. Now, you may cry. You may sit in silence. You may feel lonely. All of this is part of the path. Just like a seed must break before it becomes a tree, your pain is breaking you open to become more. He who walks through darkness and doesn't give up finds light. Not always outside, but inside. This inner light is wisdom. It is peace. It is unshakable. The Zen Master watches people rushing to fix themselves quickly. He shakes his head gently. You don't fix a broken self, he says. You feel it, sit with it, breathe through it, and then you let it rise on its own. Like the lotus that grows from the mud, your new self grows from your hardest times. So what is this rebirth? It is the moment you stop pretending. It is when you no longer run from pain. It is when you listen to your inner silence. It is when you realize you don't need to be perfect to begin again. The Zen Master has seen this in many. A woman left alone after a divorce, thinking she lost everything. But slowly, she learned to live with herself. She walked in nature. She read in silence. She cried freely. And one day, she smiled again. Not because the pain was gone, but because she had changed. Or a young man who failed in business and thought his life was over. But in his failure, he found simplicity. He started helping others. He stopped chasing success and found meaning instead. The rebirth of the self is different for everyone. But the path is always the same. Fall, break, pause, reflect, rise. And as you rise, you do not carry the old weight anymore. You walk lighter. Because now, you know who you are, not from titles, not from others, but from deep within. The Zen Master whispers this to you. like a wind through leaves. You are not broken. You are breaking open. He wants you to remember this. The silence you feared is your best friend. The pain you avoided is your deepest teacher. The loneliness you hated is your cleanest mirror. The confusion you felt is the doorway to understanding. This is the time to stop asking, when will it all be okay? And instead ask, how can I grow from here? Life doesn't promise smooth paths, but does offer something better, truth. And truth is what sets you free. Free to live, love, and be real. The Zen Master bows to you now, because he knows you made it to this moment. You stayed, you listened, you felt, and now you are ready. This is your rebirth, not as someone new, but as someone real. The storm has passed, the silence has spoken, the light is within you, and now it is time to live again. Before you go, we want to say, thank you. You've traveled this whole journey with us. But did you know, there's so many views on this channel, yet only 0.2% of people subscribe? That means many walk past without staying. But if this message helped you even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Woven. Your support helps us reach more souls who are quietly hurting. You're not alone. This is your path. This is your light. And this is your time.